A couple of months ago, Robert Krulwich did a brief stint behind the World News Now anchor desk, and while he was here, he told us about this guy he knew who had created a cool, funny website. So we checked it out, and before you could say fudge striped cookie, half the staff was wasting a lot of time checking it out every day. Then a publisher sent us a book written by the same guy who did the website. Then we saw him written up in the newspaper, and that's when we said to ourselves, hey, this Krulwich guy is kind of ahead of the curve. So we asked Robert to tell us the story again, and he did.
Should I talk about it while it plays?
No.
So I've been unemployed for like a year, and when I think back on this year, I think about how I ate a lot of cookies, and how I watched tons of TV, and how I had to rely on my parents for stuff. How I hung out with like imaginary friends, and took a lot of naps in the afternoon. I haven't had a year like this since I was like 3. And when I think back on where I was a year ago to where I am today, I think like, oh, what the f*** happened?
2 years ago, Todd Rosenberg was working for a .com, meaning he was a salesman, not a particularly happy salesman.
Here I had this whole other side of me that was trying to be a cartoonist.
But like a lot of folks, when a .com made him an offer with stock up front, he couldn't resist.
I jumped in to get rich, and then didn't.
He was laid off. He moved to this walk-up in Brooklyn, couldn't find another job, and thought, well, now what do I do? And one possibility, for a while anyway, was to sit at the drawing table and do nothing.
You know, but I've been working on a theory. It's like every time I try and do something to get something going on, I feel like it gets me nowhere. So my theory is to do nothing, and maybe that will actually get me somewhere, even though I'm not sure what somewhere is, which might be part of the problem. But if this theory works and I get somewhere by doing nothing instead of nowhere by doing something, then doing nothing might be better than doing something. Plus, I have nothing to lose because if it gets me nowhere, well, that's where I'd be if I'd actually done something. But instead, I'd have done nothing to do it. See? It's that simple.
Here it goes like that.
So Todd created a website.
The original idea was do a website that was just audio, and it was going to be a 1-minute rant from an unemployed guy every day, or something. People would go and listen to the rant. And as I started making these recordings, just sitting at my computer in my apartment, I realized that this would be kind of cool if it was animated.
So while collecting unemployment, he taught himself how to do this flash. It's called a kind of crude animation. And he invented a guy who does pretty much nothing forever.
Well, oh what?
And pretty soon he was getting attention, but he wasn't making money.
Holy just thought of a really good idea. You ready? It's like...
So he asked his viewers to send him tips.
Wait, what was the idea?
For a tip jar.
I just had it 2 seconds. Wait a second.
Once I started taking in thousands of dollars from this tip jar.
Thousands?
In like pretty much dollar donations, I realized that people were watching.
Did you just say plural?
Yeah, I think the tip jar has brought in probably close to $20,000 since it launched.
That's when the unemployment insurance people said, hey.
Yeah, and I had a trial, and basically...
You had a trial?
Well,
like with a judge and everything?
It was a hearing, yeah. It was kind of like a goof, the idea of like, please give me money. And they ruled in my favor, and I didn't have to pay back the checks that I had collected already. Because if I had lost, I would have had to pay back like $3,000, which would have been, near financial ruin for me.
So he escaped ruin, which made him almost, happy.
I hope you're doing all right. Yeah, it's been a while. Sure. I've been a little bit busy, okay? I've been busy worrying about, like, everything I could think of, but, like, all at the same time, like, worrying about the whole no money situation, worrying that I'm becoming a nutty hermit, worrying that I'm going to be alone forever, worrying that I'm a one-trick pony, worrying that the economy keeps getting worse, what the f***, and that the world is spinning out of control, and one day I'm going to walk outside and get all blown up. And all this worrying about everything is making me look...
Success does not fall easily on his shoulders, even with the fan mail, and now he's got a book out.
It's the Odd Todd Handbook, Hard Time, Soft Couch.
And he's got a pilot in the works for the Comedy Channel. It's still so odd for him, except when he thinks of himself as a ray of hope for people who hit 30 and still haven't done anything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in my early 30s, I'm 33, and after you get through your 20s, sometimes you might think that, well, I should have made it or done something by then or whatever. And there was a side of me that was kind of saying, like, what am I drawing pictures for still? It's been 10 years, 12 years since I started trying to do this. And I think that's part of what people might appreciate, is the fact that, there is possibilities that you can, really kind of, as long as you kind of just keep trying whatever it is that you want to try. I mean, I'm always like, whenever people write in and ask for advice, like, I was laid off, what do you think I should do? And it's like, do the thing, whatever that thing is. If you have a thing, do the thing. See what happens after you do the thing. And then at least you won't regret not doing the thing, even if nothing comes of the thing.
And the thing about Todd's thing, it's not nothing. It's just wonderfully odd. Robert Krulwich, ABC News.
And the website is oddtodd.com. And just to give you a little sample of what you'll find, there was a little Matrix parody on there the other day that is quite hilarious, as we used to say.
All right, want to roll?
There it is.
Very
We don't have time
funny.
for any more. You got the book, right?
I got the book. Very funny. Very funny. You're watching World News Now.